Hello, and welcome to another of those types of videos that I say I never do, reaction videos. I'm testing out my new lighting setup in this one, so in theory I should look like I've got a bit more colour to my face, which, considering the last lot, shouldn't be particularly difficult. The Darksiders 3 intro is out. There is blood and gore and violence. It's an M17+ rated trailer, at least. I'm assuming the game itself is going to be just a little bit violent. So I'm going to watch it, I'm going to react to it, and I'm hoping there's going to be some interesting stuff in it. Let's have a go.
Why did the Creator construct a universe teeming with imperfection?
A fine question.
Sin. Among the scholars of both heaven and hell, this query is known as the Riddle of Sorrows.
The Riddle of Sorrows?
Sin is itself a part of the grand design. Is not sin, then, by definition, divine? A question
Philosophy.
for the sages.
Yes.
One particularly restless bunch kept a robust relationship to the topic. The Nephilim. Spawn of angels and demons.
Strife.
Warriors. Relentless.
Fury.
Unstoppable.
War.
Blood mad. Until...
Oh, that's Fury. That's death.
By four of their own. War. Death. Fury. And strife.
Ooh.
The four
Have they redesigned
horsemen of the apocalypse.
Strife's mask?
Inconceivable power
Chart Council.
bestowed upon the traitors by those sworn to maintain symmetry twixt order and chaos. The Charred Council.
What?
Bear witness as the Council holds court
That's a nice...
to end the Nephilim War in the name of balance.
So this is the distant past.
Is the new pact. War, bringer of worldwide fire. You are the juggernaut of all pain. Death, dark soul of eternity. You are the deepest decay. You are anti-life. Strife, endless spirit of timeless unrest. You are all that is unsettled in the hearts of that which lives.
Yeah, this is an expansion of the lore.
And finally, fury. Terrible engine of rage. You are the machine that...
Are we to waste our time on ceremony, or are we to fight?
Step forward and recognize, horseman. You are the most impatient of your kin. The least predictable, dancing on the edge of your own reality.
Dance. Yeah.
Your brothers understand the undertaking set before them. But do you?
Still talking? Shall I have Death fetch us some tea, or can we get on with it?
Fury,
The sass
your
is
role in
real.
this story is yet to be written. I wonder, will you light the flame of creation anew, or stomp out the embers for good?
So I like how they have, to an extent, harkened back to the art style of the intro sequence in the first game, rather than going with the slightly more picture book-esque stuff from the second game. It is very clearly not the same art style as the first game, but it's close. That's what they were going for, the kind of ink splatter. And a lot of the imagery in this is, in some ways, quite similar too, but a little bit more rough around the edges, I suppose. But yeah, the definite kind of parallels of angel and demon fighting, and that kind of cross-hilted sword, very, very familiar from the first game. And a little bit of a backstory into the four horsemen. That's a really A really odd way of looking at war, but I suppose the renditions of all of them here are slightly odd and slightly updated. Strife hasn't changed, apart from the eyes on his helmet, but they are, I think, new. Fury's outfit has been updated slightly, as has her hair for this latest incarnation. Death looks a little bit more straggly than he did previously, and War's just a big block of shadow anyway. Charred Council bringing balance, but I think this is all an introduction to Fury, to Fury's sass, to Fury's impatience, to Fury's sense of humour. Would you like Death to bring us some tea? I don't drink tea, so no, thanks, Fury. But there's a definite kind of sense of unity and power and impatience being given there, but it doesn't reveal a whole lot more, except a little bit more about the darker side of the horseman. That war is. Let's just, if I can find the right place.
This is the new pact.
Was this the right bit?
Bringer of worldwide fire. You are the juggernaut of all pain.
So, War, bringer of worldwide fire, and there is a lot of fire in War's imagery, including his chaos form. Bringer of is the juggernaut of pain. That fairly accurately, I think, describes his demeanour in the first game.
Death, dark soul of eternity. You are the deepest decay.
Dark soul of eternity. He's got a very dark sense of humour.
Empty life, strife, endless spirit of timeless unrest.
Endless spirit of timeless unrest. That's a mouthful. I like that. It also reminds me a lot of the Watchers, the kind of shape of the head and the crest of hair going back with the cloak.
Spirit of timeless unrest.
That's what strife is.
Unsettled in the hearts of that which lives and breathes.
All that is unsettled in the hearts of living creatures.
Terrible engine of rage. You are the machine that.
Are we to
Terrible engine of rage, and we've seen Vulgrim mention her blood rage. She is the machine that interrupts. Interesting, again, stylized silhouette. She's already got her whip out and ready.
waste our time on ceremony, or are we to fight?
Step forward and recognize, horseman. You are the most impatient of your kin. The least predictable, dancing on the edge of your own reality.
Dancing on the edge of your own reality.
Undertaking set before them. But do you?
Still talking.
So this scenario is right back at the start, I think, when the four swear their allegiance to the council, and before they go on their crusade to wipe out the rest of the Nephilim. I think that's what it's getting at. So it shows you what Fury was like way back at the start, and I suppose it gives us the opportunity to say, okay, have some character development. She's going to develop over the course of the game. I can't imagine she's going to be particularly mellow at the start, but having saved all the humans, assuming we do that, vanquished the sins, maybe learnt something about herself and her brothers, maybe she'll have changed a bit. I don't know. It's a possibility.
Shall I have Death fetch us some tea, or can we get on with it?
Can we just release the game?
Your role in this story is yet.
Still got a week to go.
I wonder, will you like the
Was that yet to be written?
Will you like... My story is yet... Fury, your role in this story is yet to be...
Yet to be written.
I wonder, will you light the flame of creation anew? Or stomp out the embers?
So, will you light the flame of creation anew? Or will you stomp on the embers? So... I'm just trying to speculate how this might tie into the story. The flame of creation is, I think, referenced metaphorically or loosely with what the makers are doing in Darksiders 2. They are the creators, and it is the fire of the mountain that death releases and comes down and that runs the forge. But renewing creation implies that some of the changes that death does, the sacrifices that death makes, because it is humanity that needs to be renewed, because humanity's been wiped out. So it's interesting to see. Death brings life at the end of Darksiders, and Fury is that embodiment of rage and destruction, and therefore I suppose the parallel is that she is going to create or bring about creation by the end of the game, rather than just destroying everything, because the apocalypse has already done that. She just needs to develop and offer something to do with creation at the end. Quite a lot in that, considering it's only 3 minutes long, just under 3 minutes. But yeah, definitely like the art style. I love that war is just a big hunk of shadow there. Angels, demons, definite throwback to the original. And I like this bit about the quandary, the idea of sorrow and misery, and how it is a key question for philosophers. Because, of course, it doesn't just apply to the game, it applies to us as well. How can an all-powerful good be all... Yeah, how can an all-powerful God be good? And if he is good, how can he be all-powerful? I seem to recall Lex Luthor posed that question in Batman vs Superman, a movie which I enjoyed. Unpopular opinion, I enjoyed it. It wasn't great, but I enjoyed it. Anyway, I'm digressing. So a lot to unpack in there, a lot of setup, a nice amount of material to speculate on, and they have said that the story isn't going to be so kind of super in your face for this. So a lot of the story is like in Dark Souls, like in Bloodborne. It's going to be in tidbits on items and this, that, and the other. So 1 week to go. Hype. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing. Remember to ring the bell to be notified when new videos go live. And until next time, toodle pip.